it's Eloise Hayward from Loughborough Lightning and you're watching the Women's Rugby Show.
Hello, and welcome back to the Women's Rugby Show. I'm Sam Byther. I'm here at Kingsholm today. We're part 2 of Gloucester Rugby's doubleheader. I was watching Gloucester Rugby against Northampton Saints, the men's game in the Premiership, over in the shed. I'm now back in the press box, back where I belong, for Gloucester-Hartpury Women against Worcester Warriors Women. Really excited for this game in the Premier 15s, round 16. Should be a great game. Gloucester-Hartpury been resting a few players. Worcester Warriors coming into this game on the back of a heavy loss against Exeter, looking to bounce back. Really excited for this one. Before we get into the game, make sure you like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube and check us out across all social medias. If you don't know that, well, let's get into this video. Like I mentioned in the introduction, Gloucester-Hartpury are resting a few people for this game. A big game here at Kingsholm against Worcester Warriors. They're missing Zoe Allcroft, Lakey George, Mo Hunt misses out through COVID. A lot of players missing for this one. But they've still got a very strong team up against the Worcester Warriors team who are coming into this one off to the back of that heavy loss, 64-0 away at Exeter Chiefs last weekend. Really disappointing that one for them. I think it's the first time they've kind of been heavily beaten in a long time in the Premier 15, so they're going to be looking to bounce back from that one. But I think Gloucester-Hartpury today are going to have a little bit too much for them. They've still got that exceptional talent out wide. Ellie Underwood, Emma Singh at fullback, Millie Wood, who made a comeback to the Premier 15s last weekend, starts this week for Gloucester-Hartpury on the wing. They've got such exceptional talent, and then on the bench, Alicia Maud, Bianca Blackburn starting at 9. In the forwards, Wales is Sisilia Tuipulotu, USA International Christine Somner. Such exciting talent across the board. I think it's going to be too strong for Worcester Warriors today, but you just never know. Gloucester-Hartpury lost their only game this season so far here against Exeter Chiefs. Really tight game, really good game that we were at. I think what we do know is that if you to beat Gloucester-Hartpury, you have to beat them in the pack because they have that exciting back talent. I think today the way you beat them as well is in the pack and at 10. If you target the 10, Robin Wilkins playing at 10 today, not Lakey George, is normal. If you target that 10 shirt, target that 10 channel, they are beatable. And if you target that forwards, beat them up front, then they're not going to be able to get that ball out to the backs, and that's where they're vulnerable. If you don't get it out to the backs, that's where they're vulnerable, because they don't have that, they don't necessarily have the talent that other teams in this league do in the front 8. Obviously they do have such great players in second row, back row, but sometimes they just get beaten up and they struggle to get the ball out wide, and that's how you beat Gloucester-Hartpury. Anyway, just to round off our little introduction, I'm going to go for Gloucester-Hartpury when I think they're going to win slightly comfortably out today by probably 15-20 points. Predict a couple of tries scored. I think Alex Callender for Worcester Warriors, Cathy Mattinson as well, fresh off her first Scotland cap. And also for Gloucester-Hartpury, Ellie Underwood, Emma Singh and Millie Wood are all going to get tries. That's my prediction, so make sure you stick around for some match highlights and also match reaction from me and a couple of players as well. Cheers.
that boot. Got that boot.
I'm not following. They give me a phone.
So Sisilia, big win, derby win, close one though, so how happy are you girls with that win?
Very happy. We performed very well, team worked together, proud of the effort that the team gave and got the dub in the end of the day.
Were you nervous it was going to end up like a draw like last week away at Loughborough at some points during that one? Were you nervous it was going to be a draw during that one like last week at Loughborough?
No, I was confident in our team, confident that we were going to come away with the win today. I'm always confident in our team every week, hoping that we come with the win.
And another try for you at Kingsholm as well after the one at Exeter a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, becoming quite a habit now scoring for you.
You know, it is what it is. I score if I score, but if I don't, I don't.
Is it kind of about finding yourselves in those positions to get over the try? Because they've been, well, the one hit down here against Exeter was from a catch and drive, this one from a kind of pick and go close range. So it's just about getting in those positions for yourself.
It's about if I see the space and if it's on. I'll judge if it's on, then it's on.
Yeah. Obviously now, bit of a break from Premier 15s going into the Six Nations. How excited are you for that kind of Six Nations build-up with Wales? How excited for the Six Nations kind of build-up with Wales?
I'm buzzing. Hopefully I work hard and get my first caps.
Perfect. Cheers, Cecilia. Thanks. So, first of all, Alex, thank you so much for joining us. How are you and how's kind of the recovery been since Saturday? Obviously, it was a really physical, tight game, so must be tired and recovery been tough since then.
Yeah, it has been tough, but I think a nice little walk on the beach does me good on a Sunday morning. So it was, nice just to get that recovery in and obviously back to it today now.
And like I said, it seemed like a tough physical game. Kind of how was it out there against Gloucester-Hartpury for you?
Yeah, I think we knew straight away they were going to be a physical team. Like we've seen them throughout the whole Premier 15. So I think it was just about us stepping and fronting up really physically as well, but also mentally. Obviously, the first half was a bit hit and miss, but I think second half we really came out and fronted up, and obviously that showed by the score. So it was gutting to lose by 3 points, but again, it was a great game to play in, physical and just a real battle up front.
Help, obviously, they've got plenty of girls in the Welsh camp. Yourself, Caris Phillips being in there from Worcester. So does it help kind of having that knowledge of what they're going to be like as a player?
Yeah, 100%. Like you kind of know their strengths and their obviously weaknesses as well. So like you're trying to exploit those kind of things when you're playing against each other. It's always a good battle. But yeah, again, it was so good to see Kelsey Jones back out, even though we're talking about different strengths and stuff. It was so good to see Kelsey Jones back out in the field after injury and stuff, even though she wasn't playing for Worcester. But yeah, it was really good to see her back on the field.
And obviously, the week before, disappointment at Exeter, performance-wise and result-wise. So, was kind of the importance from yourselves and like kind of from coming from Joe to be putting in a good performance, not necessarily worrying about the results.
To be honest, like we were all really disappointed with the results against Exeter. I just don't think we showed up on the day, if I'm honest. But obviously, this week now we really spoke about that mindset going into the game, and it was there was a few tough conversations going on, but that was needed within the group. And I think this weekend it was, yeah, like you said, it was to do with performance, but also actually showing up and really fronting up against a good Gloucester side.
Obviously, you kind of mentioned the slight disappointment not to win, really tight game, but kind of what did you feel of the performance as a whole from the side?
I think ultimately second half was so much better than the first half. I think if we'd actually showed up and kind of played the way we played in the second half, like we should have in the first half, I think we would have come away with that win. So ultimately it's, a game of rugby is not down to 40 minutes, it's for the whole 80 minutes. And, we didn't really show up for the first 40. So I think, a lot of positive to take from that game, but also a lot of reflections as well to obviously go into the cup games and then our last two games in the Premier 15s.
It's always positive to take kind of a losing bonus point out of that situation as well. Is that something that you kind of been targeting from these games? Because I think I spoke to Jo Yap at the end of last year and she said how much you were always in games up until those last few minutes and then you kind of fall off. But coming out of a losing bonus point against a really good Gloucester team is always going to be a positive, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And, we have to take those positives away and kind of reflect on those situations. But again, it was a tough encounter. We always knew it was going to be. And I think ultimately we wanted to win. But again, like you said, losing bonus point was good to take away. So I think, reflecting on that now, it's going to be good going into the next Premier 15 games.
Yeah, you mentioned the cup, so kind of there's so much time off from the league. Now I think it's May the next games are in the league. So kind of what does the next couple of months look like for you and look like for Worcester going forward?
Hopefully, well, I think I'm back with Wales. So obviously going into the Six Nations. So I'll be with in the Welsh camp, obviously training for the Six Nations. Obviously we've got so much strength and depth in Worcester, which girls can come up and kind of really exploit themselves in the cup games, and we're really excited to see those girls develop and just kind of get game time under their belt really. So really looking forward to watching those girls play and kind of smashing it in the cup games.
Is there anybody we should be looking out for in those cup games from Worcester?
Definitely say Charlotte Wright-Haley. I think the last cup game she played, she'd had Warrior of the Match twice, like 2 weeks in a row. So I think she's a real feisty character in the way she is, and especially in the back row, like we need that. She's good over the ball, her dominant hits. So yeah, really looking forward to see her get some game time in the cup games.
And quickly, just to touch on Wales before I let you go, how nice it being in the camp, obviously with the new contract, both the retainer and all sorts, people being paid. How nice it being back into those camps? Yeah,
it is, and I don't think it kind of changes a lot. I think we're all the same people, but obviously some more girls are in they're in full time now, so it's really good to see those girls get those extra time with coaches and kind of get their skill set up to speed and things. So it's really nice to see those girls get the time that they need with the coaches. So I think obviously going into the Six Nations, that was going to be a real challenge for us as a squad. Obviously some girls are contracted, some girls are retainers. There's also a challenge for us to kind of just showcase what we can do as a squad, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Perfect. So cheers, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
No worries.